I can make a graphic tomorrow and replace the one. That's the. I can make a graphic tomorrow and replace the one.
I just heard it.
That's the. I can make a graphic tomorrow and replace the one.
I just heard it.
Why is my mic so low?
Got to.
I don't know if that's gonna work.
Let me.
All right, let's try that.
Okay, it's posting right now. Do it.
Burn it down!
Floor is yours.
Ladies, and this is the Burn It Down NASCAR podcast. Post Pocono controversial filled race.
Before we get into it, you see that text I sent you today? You probably didn't. It was
About the infield being filled.
Well, everything. It was like
Yes.
a picture of the Skyview picture of Pocono from I thought it was 1999, but no, it was 2019 to 2023 this past weekend, and it's incredible. I don't know what Pocono did as like an incentive to come to the track. You know what I'm saying? Like, did they lower ticket prices? Was there more attractions? Because what's the difference? Is it because don't get me wrong, the racing's better. The last 4 weeks have been amazing, but like, you don't just buy and go to a camping at Pocono on a whim. Like, they planned that out. So what brought it back after 3-4 years? Because it's been dead.
I think the lack of 2 races now to 1.
True, because it does 2 races a year.
I think that experiment that they did a couple of years ago,
Back to back.
a year or two, back to back, 2 different days, racing, making it one only. And I also think the quality of the race.
The racing has been great. The only thing NASCAR needs to do, honestly, and it's usually that this should be not the problem, is short track. Short track racing is the problem with NASCAR right now, and they're meant to do testing. I don't know if they did because of rain, but that right there is their problem right now, is short track. But I just want to bring up the attendance in the picture, and we can continue on to...
I absolutely agree. The stands were full. The infield was full.
It was it was great to see.
I saw something today where the ratings on the TV were up. This is one of the few times that I have to say maybe they're doing something right.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it all on NASCAR. It's the track. What is the track
It's
doing?
the Mattioli family.
Yeah.
and the fact that they are continuing to refuse to go woke. I know that covers a lot, but I think that's a lot of it, where they are trying to. I heard the other morning on the way to work, it was a rebroadcast with Dave Moody, where he had Dr. Mattioli on, and he's like, we want to be a part of NASCAR. We want to do everything that we can do, but we're not playing by their rules. We're not doing things the way they want us to do them. We're doing things the way we want to do. And he had a lot to say about Bill France and the early days of Pocono, where they were ready to shut Pocono down. And Bill France came to them and said, look, what do we need to do? How do we need to keep this open? What do you need from us? And they worked together and built us into what it is today.
Another one I've noticed this a lot in the last year or two is they're making the tracks look good, because I know you haven't watched it or maybe seen snippets of it. Have you ever watched an F1 race? The track's painted, it's all cleaned up, and it looks really good. Pocono did the same thing. Like the whole stretches, where there wasn't a racing surface, it was painted. It was like Bristol, essentially. It was painted, it looked good, it was spruced up. So they did a lot of work for that track. So it was, as much as, here we go, we're going to Pocono. It was a great race. It's probably looking forward to that race every year now because it's great racing. Hate to say it, because it didn't used to be.
It's always been good racing, but for some reason it's got elevated. I don't know whether it's the car. And I hate to admit that. God, yeah. I hate to admit that. But did you notice they completely reconfigured Victory Lane Circle?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was scratching my head because I was like, okay, what was it before? And because they made quite a big deal out of it on the TV about all the newness of all that. So, doing overall here, I thought it was a great race. I really did. We'll get into the controversy and all the BS here in a little bit, but I actually thought it was an awesome race. I was glued the whole time.
Every restart was great. The racing was great. There was good back and forth. Don't get me wrong, they went in single file line, but they could, if they had the run, they could shoot it. They could go 5-6 wide. We could throw helmets and miss cars. We can go down the line.
We're going to get to all
Wasn't expecting that, huh?
No, I wasn't expecting that one. All right. And again, let's stay away from the controversies here so we can go through the stats. Mr. Hamlin is your winner, verified after inspection and all that. He didn't have
the tape on
an 1/8 inch of spacer tape under him. He was good. His employee, Tyler Reddick, was second. Truex was third. Harvick was fourth, which is awesome.
Yeah. He had a really cool orange car. Peach Mango Bush. Was.
Fifth was Gibbs. Sixth was Bell.
Mind you, if you just paid attention, 5 of the top 6 were Toyota.
I know. I get it.
And then Bubba's only lacking one,
Stenhouse was 7th, and look at Harrison Burton in 8th.
And Eric Jones 9th.
Eric Jones, Chase Elliott was 10th. Bubba Wallace, Eric Almirola, Chastain pulled out of 13th. William Byron was 14th. Gilliland was 15th. Keselowski was 16th. Allmendinger 17th. That's as far as we need to go with that. Michael McDowell honorable at 19th. Kyle Larson after his...
He finished 20th? I didn't know he went that far back. Yeah. Man.
I'm surprised he finished that far forward after what happened.
Yeah,
to
but he
him.
didn't get. I mean, yeah, he got crashed, but like I thought he finished up higher than that.
No. Kyle Busch was 21st. Bowman was 24th. Blaney, man,
His car was great until he lost the cylinder, which is very uncharacteristic for these new motors.
yeah, that is that I can't recall, and I'm not saying I'm 100% right on this, but I don't remember the last time in the last 2 years with these new cars that I've heard lost a cylinder.
Yeah, the only time someone's lost a motor was Alex Bowman at the Chicago Street Race. That was the only other time. But this is like losing a cylinder. That is not common anymore.
Nope. Logano was 35th, and Suarez dead last at 36th. So,
did you by chance see the Logano blow up when he spun, when he was yelling at the truck driver?
yeah, I saw that video.
Man, he was hot. That was not. That's not safe for TV.
Do?
Well, he wanted to get their attention and said, hook me up. But they're like telling him, oh yeah, we're trying to get you blah, blah, blah. They weren't paying attention to him while he was mad. Because he's like, just hook me up, because he knows he's going to go lap down and he's on the, damage clock. Instead of trying to push him, he's like, he's trying to tell him, you can't push me, I'm stuck. You have to raise me. And then by the time they got him raised, they drag him around and his left front tire is shredding his fender, and he's done for the day pretty much. But he was so pissed because he's trying to get because he's stuck in a car, he can't move. So he's trying to get the guy over there to, hey, because they check on him, hey, are you good? He wanted to tell him, just hook me up and go. But they weren't paying attention to him, and he was pissed.
And then they had to drag him all the way around the track.
Yeah, and it just destroyed his car. And he was pissed.
I heard Elton Sawyer today, again, on NASCAR Sirius XM, and the way he explained that was the scoring loops. He said we could have took him straight to the pits,
Yeah.
but it would have messed up the scoring loop. So we had to do what we had to. I don't buy that. I think that's crap. Put him at the end of the longest line whenever he gets done. But he was right. He was on the front straight. Just take him to the damn pits. Don't hang.
Yeah.
Pull him up. Whatever. Driver points. Now, this is not playoff. This is driver. Martin Truex, with 3 wins, is in the driver points lead. William Byron with 4 wins is second. Hamlin with 2 wins is third. Then you got Bell and Chastain with a win each in 4th and 5th. Kyle Busch is either there or he's dead ass last. He's in 6th with 3 wins. Larson is in 7th with 2 wins. Harvick, simply pointing in, is tied with Larson, 110 down and no wins. Blaney's got a win. He's in 9th. Logano's got a win. So does Reddick. They're 10th and 11th. Keselowski is totally just points at 12th. And then you got Buescher, Stenhouse, Bubba, and McDowell. That's how the driver points are right now. And let's get the playoff standings off our plates here. And again, I don't understand all of this. Truex is first, 1 point ahead of William Byron. He's 10 points ahead of Kyle Busch in 6th. Denny Hamlin, he's in the same boat as Kyle Busch. You got Kyle Larson, Chastain, Christopher Bell, Blaney, Logano, and Reddick. It's
Reddick, then Stenhouse, and then it's all points afterwards. Harvick, Keselowski, Buescher, Wallace, and McDowell.
Stenhouse. So you got Harvick, who is, I'm sorry, he's solid. Keselowski is solid. Harvick is 163 to the good from the cut line. Keselowski is 122. And Buscher, I think, is good as well at 111. So you got RFK Racing in 12th and 13th. And I think I really do. I believe they're solid in unless all of a sudden in the last 5 or 6 races, we get 5 or 6 different winners, and they're not one of them. One of the things that I want to talk about when we get into the news and views is you got Bubba in 15th, 27 above the cut line, McDowell 17 above the cut line, Allmendinger 17 below, Suarez 23 below, Gibbs 28 below, and Bowman 46 below. And we got to include Chase 56.
Yep.
Cindric, Haley, wish that's another subject. And Gilliland, in my opinion, are really the only ones that are within striking distance. So that is the playoffs as of right now. And as you stated, the only ones that are not in as far as wins are Harvick, Keselowski, Buscher, Wallace, and McDowell. So.
And we have We have Richmond, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Watkins Glen, and Daytona. The next 4 races for the playoffs. Oh, sorry, Richmond, Michigan, Indianapolis, Watkins, and Daytona. 2 road courses in a row?
There's 5.
Yeah. Yeah, Richmond, then Michigan, Indianapolis,
and
Watkins.
SVG is going to win at Indianapolis. So
I don't know. Richard Childress tapped another one of them boys, so you never know.
I'm calling it right now.
Christopher Bell's already come out and said SVG, it's too hard, it's too much for him to learn than actual road course instead of a street course.
Well, who was the best learner up at Chicago?
Yeah, true.
I do want to kind of hold back on the biggest thing. Cover a few news things that I thought were interesting that I learned. And this is going back to New Hampshire. I didn't know Larry the Lobster was 22 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap. That's a big ass lobster. What do you think about Busch Light going to Ross Chastain? And basically, in my opinion, destroying Stewart Haas.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, it takes a lot of sponsorship money out of Stewart Haas, and I don't know what they're going to do to replace that, because I think with them, was getting Josh Berry, they're hoping to keep Busch, but obviously that wasn't the case. I think it's great for Ross getting it. It's it went from Junior to Harvick, now Ross, not three different generations, but they're in the sport still. I think it's like a 21 primary race sponsor for them, so that's huge for Trackhouse. But Stewart Haas got to do something. But now when I'm talking about it, Josh Berry I think he can probably get and tap into what's the hunting one that they got?
Real Tree?
No.
Bass Pro?
Bass Pro, yes. It's Bass Pro. Because he does that in Xfinity. So he can probably tap into that, but that's, technically if he does that, that's Bass Pro sponsoring 3 different primary cars in the Cup Series and 3 different teams. So I don't know if they'll be able to do that because they got Austin Dillon, Martin Truex, and if they do Barry, that's 3 right there. So I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to do. I don't know. Are they going to try to do a different sponsor every race type of thing? Because I don't know. I really don't.
Well, I saw, again, I'm not putting any validity into it. I'm just bringing it up that Stuart Haas is looking at shuttering 1 or 2 teams.
Probably. They should. When the 10's gone, when Almirola's gone, get rid of it. Don't replace him.
Yeah.
Unless Smithfield stays on as a primary sponsor. Give that to Barry. But usually Smithfield's tied to Eric Almirola.
Yeah, pretty much for the last 10 plus years.
So I don't know. I think Josh Berry there'll bring something, but like with Busch leaving, that's a huge blow to money to them. So if in my opinion, Ryan Preece, he was doing pretty well in the beginning, but now he ain't doing shit now. Eric Almirola, he wanted a blue moon, so when he retires, don't replace the car. I hate to say it, but you're not producing, finishes for sponsors to go, oh yeah, let's sponsor you guys for what? To hopefully get on TV.
There's been talk about McDowell over to S.
I've heard that, McDowell over there, but like that's a good pickup. But like, I guess McDowell he would bring over Loves.
That would be a good primary for him.
Yeah, but I agree. But like, that's only fixing one problem. You still got 3 other drivers for sponsorship. I don't know what. I mean, it could be the same thing with Kyle Busch. No one knew his sponsors going into this year, and he's had a ton. And Joe Gibbs said we couldn't find sponsors for him. Bullshit. You didn't want to find sponsorship for him. He just came out with another sponsorship card today got announced. I forgot who it was, but it's another sponsor car. I forgot who it was, but it was another one.
I hadn't heard that, so I can't speak to it. I don't want to.
No, I gotta find it. I had to find it. I was just scrolling.
A little bit back to New Hampshire, which I thought was just a cool little stat. Truex is 2 for 3 on Mondays this year.
Oh, it's for this race coming up. It's called World Wallet. It's a Visa. Who needs a new wallpaper for this week in Richmond Raceway? World Wallet is the new sponsor. Get more with X. Or use your reloadable multi-currency wallet to get X points. No credit check or annual fees. So it's a credit card that's sponsoring him this week. For a new sponsor. Sorry for cutting you off, but I knew it was there.
Okay. What do you think about Justin Haley signing with Rick Ware?
I think he knows something we don't. Because Rick Ware is tied to Roush, and Roush tried to go to Dodge. Maybe he knows in the future that they're switching to Dodge, and he wants to be a part of that. And when he sees that both Roush cars are performing, and he thinks if he gets the same equipment, essentially, they're cousins, he can perform.
Their garage, facilities are on the campus of Roush Fenway Racing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're cousins essentially.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Here's what they need to do. I know Ryan Blaney don't want to race the big tracks anymore, but Ryan Newman. Give Newman the 51. Give Haley the 15. You got a veteran there and a young guy. Boom. But Ryan Newman doesn't race.
Chatter today about Ryan going to Colic.
Oh.
And full time starting next year.
I haven't heard that, but I know Ryan Newman didn't want to retire, and
He didn't want to retire, and he stated that he doesn't want to go do Talladega, Atlanta.
Well, he didn't want to. He didn't want to do it with this car. With how I already had 2 bars named after me. I don't need another one. So he wants to get the car to be broken in before he gets in and breaks. With especially this year with the Kyle Larson incident. So he's like, give it 2 years. The 3rd year on this new car, I think he'll be fine.
Oh, that would be next year.
Yeah. Yep.
There was an awful lot of chatter today about that. That he might actually go to college. So, one other thing, and then we can get into the Pocono race. Shane Van Gisberg is gonna be back.
Yep.
At the Indianapolis road course. And if you don't have him in the garage, you better at least have him in your lineup.
Pretty much.
I don't care. He made me some serious points up in Chicago. And I think it's a good deal for Trackhouse. I think it's a good deal for him. I wouldn't be surprised because they're talking that his contract with whatever he's doing in Australia,
he's able to get out of it. Yeah.
Well, it ends or whatever at the end of this season. That they don't go with the 91 car on him full time next year. The boy's got talent. Now let's see what his repertoire is.
Yeah.
As far as short tracks.
Yeah. He's gonna
super speedways, 1.5 miles. I mean, if he's just a ringer for road courses, all right, not so much. But man, I'll tell you what, he banked me at Chicago. He really did. All right, let's get into Pocono.
Hi, baby.
Hi, sweetheart. Everybody who might be watching, that's my granddaughter.
Done?
How you doing? You doing okay?
Doing okay? Yeah.
She's gonna hide.
Oh, what are you doing? Watch. And pet the dog.
Okay. Overall, I thought Pocono was an excellent race.
Yes, I agree.
Every restart, the whole, it was just great. It was one of those. You know what? I wish I was there on top of the RV watching.
Yep.
We got some things to talk about. Obviously, Denny Hamlin is declared the winner. He didn't have tape under his wrap. He was good.
Other side. Over here.
But we got to talk about the end of that race. What is your... what do you...
As much as I didn't like the move and everybody was giving him shit, if you were in the same position, you would do the same thing. Now, on the other foot, you know Denny's going to do it because he's done it multiple times, especially if you're a Hendricks driver. He always treats you like crap, regardless of you being friends or not. Now, if I was Kyle Larson, regardless of you being friends off the track and you use his plane to do your sprint car races, whatever, crash him. You know he's going to do it. You crowd him. Race him dirty. He raced you dirty for the win. You race him dirty. Don't give him room. That's how I would be. You say multiple times, crash your mother to win. Well, he did, essentially. But I don't like how Denny says, oh, I didn't touch him. I gave him plenty of room. Boy, there is evidence on multiple cameras and multiple different angles. You touched him. You didn't give him room.
That's exactly where I was going. He did touch him.
Yeah.
And it didn't start in turn 2. It started in turn 1. Dave Moody, again on Sirius XM, said that Denny knocked him around in turn
Oh,
one.
yeah.
They came back, and then Denny says, "Well, I gave him a lane." No, you didn't.
And then his dumbass goes on his detrimental podcast yesterday. It says, "Oh, I watched the replay and there was no marks on my car. We didn't touch." I'm like, dude, are you that set in stone that you don't want to admit you were wrong? Homie, you were wrong. And Kyle Larson even came out and says he's never came out and said at the post race, he says he's never wrong. Regardless, he's not wrong. I have to apologize every time. And he just proved that on his podcast and saying, "Oh yeah, I still never touched him." I'm like, dude, watch Kevin Harvick's in-car camera or whatever. You literally see them hit. Not you can watch the broadcast and you could tell, but don't lie when evidence is right there. You know.
I think the biggest problem that I have is not that they touched in turn one. Going into two, I think it was, he, said I gave him room. No, you sent him into the wall.
Yeah,
and he still came back and you squeezed him off again.
Yeah.
It just... he could have saved himself just by saying, "Look, I probably raced him a little too hard."
No, he's sticking to it.
But he didn't. He tried to defend himself. And, dude, it's all on video. It's all on video. It's right there. You wrecked him.
Yeah.
And now I'm in the camp. Kyle Larson.
Always him.
We got Richmond coming next weekend. Take him out.
He owes him too, because he did it earlier this year. Remember? I forget, it was on the backstretch and going right before they get into turn 3. He hits him in the left rear and turns him towards the wall. I forgot what race it was, but this is the second time this year.
Was it Atlanta?
I don't know what race it was, but but this is the second time Denny's purposely wrecked Kyle Larson for the win. Not to mention other Hendricks drivers throughout the year, but still, Larson alone.
Well, I think Denny, if he's got a brain in his body, better understand that he's got an X on his back right now.
Well, even if that's not Kyle Larson's MO of how getting back, but don't make it hard for him to pass, regardless if it's the first lap or last lap.
No, I think he chastains him. Just
yeah, but don't get don't. You gotta pee. But I don't. Yeah, Larson owes him. He definitely doesn't need to do that. I'll be right back. You can talk.
Nah, just pause it.
Man, it's live.
Anyway. The other thing that I want to talk about was Priest at the end. Why didn't NASCAR call the caution when Priest hit the wall? There was debris on the track. They waited until the field came to him, I think, just to get the white flag. I'm not good at doing this on my own. But anyway, I think that was a bunch of crap. I'm just going to wait till he gets back because I'm better doing it that way. So here we go. Dun, 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 dun.
All right. I'm back.
I tried. I just
No, you're
don't
good.
see it.
You're fine.
I guess the other thing I wanted to cover about the race was Priest at the end.
I seen him get mad at Corey LaJoy or something.
NASCAR is so caution flag happy.
Yeah.
Why did they let it go?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Why didn't they throw the caution? It's like they wanted a certain outcome. That was a bunch of crap that they did that.
I have no idea. Like I said,
I heard Elton Sawyer this morning. He had 1,000,002 excuses about giving the fans giving the fans what they wanted, not calling a caution. I mean, he had everything. And I'm like, how many times have we seen where a car
spins,
gets up against the wall and you throw the flag? But it almost seems like the fix is in for Denny. You know what I mean? They should have called, in my opinion. I'm not sure that I'm right on this. But as soon as Priest and you know what? F Corey LaJoy, because manufacturer partner, he needs that should have been an instant, because all day long they were calling cautions for really nothing. They were calling cautions for a lot less than that, and they let that go. That was one of the biggest BS moves I've seen for a little while. I think they just wanted to get to the white flag so they could call the winner and be done with it. They didn't want that last restart.
I don't know why they didn't. My only conclusion is they thought since he didn't hit the wall nearly that hard, blah blah blah, he was able to get going again. And obviously, they paid attention during the race. If you skid and slide on those tires, they go flat. Your car is not gonna move because it's on those fucking blocks.
Yeah, ask BK about that.
Yeah, so I don't know what they were expecting any different than the car sliding. And I think it may have grazed the wall, but it didn't damage it. But it had flat tires and it couldn't move because it was on those blocks the car has. So yeah, that I don't. It's gonna be one of those things that now NASCAR is gonna be trigger happy on cautions for spins now because. We don't want this,
And Elton Sawyer, he's like, well, you got to remember, we got 2.5 mile tracks. We got 1.5 mile tracks. We got 3/4. We got quarter.
So?
So we make decisions. Dude, we're not talking about all the various differences in the tracks. We're talking about this track, this day, and the circumstances in which you were throwing cautions early in the race that met the standard of throwing a caution in this circumstance, and you didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's my point. Is he wants to bring up all the different venues.
He's just beating around the bush instead of answering, oh, well, we just didn't want to throw it right away.
Yeah. No, they wanted to get to the white flag so they didn't have to do another restart, which lends to the conspiracy theory that they were kissing Denny's rear end.
Yeah.
So I was really irritated with that. I was irritated with Denny running Kyle into the wall, and I was irritated with them not throwing that caution when they should have on the last lap, basically 2 laps. So, all right. Clearly, you got your hands full.
She wants to go with the part.
Well, you can do that. We got Richmond next week. Who you calling?
Kyle Busch, because I know he's good at the track.
I'm going to say Chase Elliott gets in the playoffs.
Not a bad pick.
And I don't have my screen up, so who you taking for a dark horse?
Well, I'm trying to see if there's anybody coming to the race that's not normally there.
25 and below. Is Blaine or Ryan going to be there?
That's what I was. Yeah.
I'm taking Ryan Newman.
He's still. Did he move back to South Bend, Indiana? Because it says he's. Oh, it says hometown. It doesn't say where he actually lives. Yeah, it's still. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that's what I was looking for is Newman's in it, and Newman. Yeah. I know you don't like to talk about it, but Haley Deegan, she did. I came up on YouTube. You know she went through Buchanan for the motocross.
You were gonna tell me she went to Redbud.
Yeah, she did. It was because she went to Redbud, and I was watching her podcast or whatever, and because I knew Redbud and her brother or whatever and her family, and I just wondered, and she goes, yeah, in this little rinky-dink town called Buchanan, there's Redbud, the biggest. I'm like, oh my God, she's in Buchanan. Little shock when I said, all right. I forgot, Redbud is huge in that side of the world. And her brother won.
Oh, well.
At least somebody can win.
The track and trail was only about a mile from our homestead.
Yeah. But I just thought it was cool. I know it's a little side thing, but I just saw it the other day, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
I was going to say, that would be, to me, the only reason she would be in Buchanan.
Yeah. It's because of Redbud, and her dad and her family was there. And then they went to, Chicago for some bullshit, and then they went to Ohio. I think they went to Tony's track. Did whatever there, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah, Buchanan had a celebrity show.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. You got anything else?
No, not that I can think of.
All right. Well, then let's wrap this up. Hey, guys, this has been the Burn It Down NASCAR podcast. Hopefully you guys will tell your friends, family, and relatives, dead or alive. Let's do this. I'm done.
Burn it down!